Thank you to our sponsor, EJ Cards, a small but motivated company specializing in cards. EJ Cards believe passionately in great bargains and excellent service, which is why they commit themselves to give you the best of both. If you're looking for something new, you're in the right place. EJ Cards strive to be industrious and innovative, offering customers something they want, putting their desires at the top of the priority list. Find EJ Cards at www.ejcards.com.au or shop 394 to 398 Middleborough Road, Blackburn, Victoria, and also find them on Facebook. Thank you very much, EJ Cards, for sponsoring us. Welcome, everybody, to episode 48. I am Russell Gibson, your host of the NBA podcast, You Can't Comp This. And this week, Adam is away, as you can tell by him not doing the introduction. We've got Brendan Sharp, the director and founding partner of Mercury, and Paul Brotherson, also the director and founding partner. Good evening, guys. How are you going today?
Superb,
doing really
mate.
well.
Thank you so much for giving us your time and joining us today. Tell us about Mercury.
Yeah, well, it's firstly, thanks for having us on. Really appreciate it. It's really exciting to be here talking about something that we've been working on for a couple of years. I think we first came across each other a couple of years ago now. It would be 2 years or just over 2 years. It's been a fantastic and a crazy and a wild and an entertaining and a frustrating journey for that 2 years. When we initially, you may or may not know this, but when we initially started, which is literally 2.5 years ago now, we went through a whole process for nearly 12 months. It was 11 and a half months with one developer. And at the end of the day, what they produced for us was not adequate as far as we were concerned. We're looking to develop something here that is absolutely first class for our members. And we ended up having to scrap the whole thing and start again, which is why we're now 2 and a bit years down the track. And we've only just, sort of launched the platform that we wanted to launch in the format that we wanted it to be launched, the quality format that we wanted it to be launched. So it's been an interesting journey. It's been fun and games, and but we're here now, which is exciting, and we have something to share with everybody in the trading card community. And hopefully everyone can get behind it and get on board and use all of its services and get a lot of value out of it.
Great. So tell us about Mercury, though. Tell us a bit more about the nuts and bolts and what's inside of Mercury.
Sure. Brendan, give us a go.
Yeah, so Mercury currently has three main points to it. There's plenty more coming, but the three key aspects that we've started with will allow you to do things like upload your trading card collection digitally, so you can track what cards you've got, what cards you need. You can show off to your friends. That's called our trophy room. So when you sign up to Mercury, you get your very own trophy room. The second aspect of the that we've launched, which links directly to your trophy room, all these things will link, and we'll explain that as we go. But these are the checklists. Now, everyone in the trading card game understands checklists and understands that when a new release is launched, that there's a whole list of cards. So what we'll do, we've uploaded all of those cards into the back end of Mercury. We're currently sitting at about 98% of all basketball cards currently by volume within the Mercury platform. We've got a whole heap of NFL cards in there. We've got some soccer cards. We've got some rugby league, some AFLs going in, baseball. So we're just working our way through uploading all of those cards in there. And then the last piece that we've just launched as a high-level overview is our marketplace. So the marketplace, once again, that links to the checklist because you will upload. You don't need to go and type in manually what the card is. You just find what your card is, you upload your images, and then you list it straight on the marketplace. We will do all the hard work with the player name, the team name, and then the cool thing that we've got going at the moment, which is currently working, is if you buy a card on the marketplace, once the transaction is completed, the digital copy of the card will be transferred from the seller's account straight to the buyer's account. So it makes it so easy to track and manage your trading card collection. So that's a sort of a high-level overview, and I'm sure we'll go into some more detail as we go through the podcast.
Russell, I think it's important to understand, the whole idea behind Mercury was to create a central hub where, our members can do everything that they want to do in the one location. I mean, at this point in time, people are, and do it in a place where it's so affordable and so cost effective that it's not, prohibitive to people who want to trade. Everybody at every level can trade on the platform because, let's be honest, you've got FeeBay out there, and we all know what FeeBay is, and the cost and all of that, etc., etc.
16% is a reasonable chunk of a sale.
Yeah, it is, and there are other platforms by the time you've paid for moving cards and getting them shipped out or transitioning from this person's sale box to this, but there's some of them are 20, 25% by the time you've encompassed all the fees along the way. So it gets, it's almost cost prohibitive for some people to engage in the platform.
Yeah.
So what we wanted to do was Mercury's principle is to bring all of the aspects of what you want to do in the trading community and bring it into one central location and have it be a paid platform. So rather than you paying huge percentages on your sales of your cards, it's just one small fee every month, and you can, do whatever you want to do within that platform.
Okay.
So yeah, and Brendan talks about, the feature of if a seller sells a card to a buyer, the card moves digitally across from the seller's account across to the buyer's account. That's only one of the really cool features. I mean, you're going to be able to create want lists and have lists, and then if you create a want list of cards that you want, and then I upload a card that is on your want list, you automatically get notified. So you'll then, you can go in and buy it straight away. Yep. There's a whole bunch of these features that are all going to be released. So, but the whole principle of the idea of behind Mercury was a central hub where you can do everything that you want to do, backed by the checklists that bring everything together so that everybody's got the exact same checklist that they're all working from. Yeah. So, yeah.
You spoke before about NBA and a couple of other different sports. Is your background baseball? Is it basketball? What's your interest in card collecting in that space?
So I was, I'm probably like most of the people my age in the hobby.
Yeah.
I collected in the mid-90s, and it was basketball.
Yeah.
I've still got a lot of those cards with me. Had a bit of a break through my teens and early 20s, and then jumped back in. So I collect basketball. That's my thing. I do have, as I'm sure a lot of people in the hobby do, a few baseball, soccer, rugby league, Pokemon cards.
Yeah,
but,
sure.
The 95% of my collection is basketball.
Yeah. And was there a particular moment when you said, like, that's it, I've had enough of this platform, or I've had enough dealing in this experience, and to like create your own platform? Like, what was the sort of the straw that broke the camel's back in that sense?
So I collect Paul George. Paul George has been my player that I collect for over 10 years now.
Yeah.
So I've got a fairly substantial quantity of Paul George cards.
Yeah.
Low end, high end. I was running a website on Wix.com. So that's where you can build your own website. And whenever a new checklist came out, I had to go through and find which Paul George cards were in that checklist and then manually add them to my very own created Wix platform. So it's sort of, I knew that I had something once I'd completed it, but then it was sort of the light bulb moment went off when other people asked me about my website and asked for a copy of it so they could create a copy for themselves, so they could track and manage their collection.
Okay.
So it's sort of like, well, at that point, we're like, well, why don't we create something? Or, I'm thinking, why don't we create something that is easy and all the checklist data is added as new releases are launched?
Okay. So what's Wix? Is that like Discogs, or what's the...
It's sort of like a website that you can build the website yourself. Just drag and drop. It's, I'm not very techie myself, but, I was able to figure it out, and yeah.
And you're using that just to build checklists for Paul George. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, so I had a visual representation. So I would scan each card, and basically for cards that I didn't have, I'd have the NBA logo. So I would have every single card listed. And then as I picked up a new card, or as I sort of acquired a new card, I would swap the NBA logo out. Yeah, for the ones that I hadn't collected, there was an NBA logo. That was the image, the default image. So I knew that I needed that card, and I could use that anywhere in the world. I could log in and see which cards I needed and which cards I had. So, yeah.
That actually makes a lot of sense. When you describe that, that sort of really fits into your trophy room idea, doesn't it? And clearly that's a little bit of a personality type too thing, isn't it? Like building checklists and ticking them off and stuff like that. I have done that myself with spreadsheets, just sort of building, a very rudimentary spreadsheet, but I got to be honest with you, after a little while, it just sort of becomes too much work, and I just sort of just gave up doing it, to be honest. So,
and the idea with this also, Russell, is that, like Brendan's got, I don't even know how many cards. It's in the many, many thousands. Yeah. So, as a collector, we've all got boxes of cards where we don't know what we've got value-wise.
Yeah.
You could put up a card that you might think is worth 50 cents, and then, somebody on the other side of the world wants that card, and they can reach out to you and say, I'll give you $50 for that.
Sure.
You might have 100 of those in your collection that you don't know. And this is the whole idea, is that once you digitize that collection, you've got all of this value that is sitting there for sale and for trade, rather than sitting in a box that you have no idea whether it's worth anything at any point in time.
Yeah.
So it allows you to actually transact and trade and, possibly move cards that you no longer want, or, so that gives you some money or cash to then go and get the cards that you do want. It's this whole process of, illuminating or shining a light upon every aspect of your collection and putting it up there so you can showcase it at any point in time. But then also it's available for sale from collectors from any place on the planet.
Yeah. So it's obviously, this is an Australian launch. So are you launching it? So it's available worldwide? Is that what you mean?
Yeah, it's available worldwide. So it's not just restricted to Australia. Anyone can jump on.
And what's your membership looking like at the moment? Like, what percentage have you got sort of Aussies and, people from overseas? Do you have many people from China in there?
I don't think we do. I would say the majority of our members currently are Australians.
Look, we're 4 weeks in, Russell, to be honest. We're 4 weeks in. We just launched. We're just starting to do, things like this, like with you, where we're just starting to tell everybody out there. This is really a message distribution scenario at this point in time.
No, that's totally fine. I was just interested.
Yeah.
Because the reason I specifically asked China is because I just feel like there's a lot of heat coming out of China at the moment. Like, you can sort of see there's a lot more momentum with, like, breakers videos coming out of China, and a lot more sales posts and a lot more stuff on eBay, being bought and sold sort of through that Chinese sort of direction. So I was really interested in terms of the, the databasing. Is there any sort of appeal in that sort of sense?
Yeah.
I don't look, to be honest, we haven't opened that market. If you've got a way we can get in there, Russell, please let us know, mate. We'd love to jump onto it. There's no doubt about it. There's a couple of people in China, that's for sure.
Yeah, that's the other thing too. I just think the market over there is, I think it's hard to tap into with the language barrier, but I really think, there's just definitely, something out there for sure.
I think it's underestimated. Yeah, I think people underestimate how many collectors are actually in China.
Yeah, 100%. All right, we'll call that segue one of the night. Adam and I, we are the masters of the segue. But so you spoke about the trophy room, you've spoke about the checklist, and you spoke about the trading capability. Can we talk a little bit more about the logistics of how the trading works? Because this is something I'm definitely interested in, because the way that I buy and I sell is very different as I do it over different platforms. So, and a lot of that is to do with safety reasons, I suppose. And what I mean by that is that I feel safer to buy from eBay than I do selling on eBay, for example, because I just feel like the buyer is more protected in that sense. And whereas when I go to Facebook Marketplace, I feel a lot more safer as a seller, because I feel like there's more of a sort of a human touch in a way that you can negotiate any issues that you have with sales out. Yep. So I'm interested to hear your thoughts on how you both protect the buyer, but also how you protect the seller.
Yeah, it's definitely an interesting scenario, or not scenario, but we went back and forth on this countless times. And every time we would pitch a scenario, we could sort of see how the buyer could sort of work their way around it. Or if you flip that the other way, we could see how the seller in the same situation could flip their way around it.
I can't agree with that more. I feel like no matter what you do, there's always going to be someone who's going to try and beat the system. Yeah,
100%.
Agree.
Yeah.
So we've implemented, and it's in our terms and conditions, and we've spoken to a few collectors around how we can do it best. So first off, if you are a buyer and you select an untracked shipping method from the seller, what that means is once the seller has placed the package in the mail, you as the buyer have taken the risk through postage. So this is probably going to be for your low end cards, $1, $2, $3, $4 cards that you're like, look, I don't really want to spend $8, $9 to get those shipped to me, so I'll pay $4. But if you select a tracked package, it's then the seller's responsibility until the package shows up at your door. So the seller's got to go and ship it with a tracking number, then upload the tracking number into Mercury, and then they take the responsibility on it until it arrives at the buyer's door. So you can sort of, once you sort of pick that apart and you listen to it, you can say, well, I can see how the buyer could take advantage of that, or I can see how the seller could take advantage of that. So there's another piece to this as well, and it's the seller. For each seller that joins the website, you need to have 10 positive transactions to have your money released instantly. So what happens is, if you're a new seller on the website, you sign up, you make the first sale, the buyer transfers the money is held by Mercury for 14 days or until the buyer marks the package as received. Yep. So basically what we're saying is that the buyer is protected for the first 14 days until the buyer receives the package. So there'll be other things that will come up and we'll try to implement as we go. But yeah, we're just going to sort of listen to collectors, listen to people in the hobby about ways that we can make it better and make it safer for everybody.
Yeah. As you said, Russell, I mean, it doesn't matter what platform you go onto. If a scammer is going to try and scam you, they're going to find a way to make it happen. I mean, we all get those phone calls every day, the emails. They're always trying to scam us. But, we're trying to build Mercury. And, I'm sure Facebook might be the same and so is eBay. But we're trying to build Mercury as purely as a trading card family, and a real community where everybody just does their best to do the right thing. Yep. And no matter what, you bet with the best of intentions, there's always going to be some ass out there, excuse my language, that, wants to do the wrong thing. And at some point in time, we know that will come across our table and we'll have to address it at that point in time.
Yeah, definitely.
But we've tried to put some parameters in place that allow us to at least offer a best case scenario to support both sides. I mean, as Brenda mentioned, the idea that the money is held in escrow for the first 14 days until that buyer has had at least 10 transactions. Yep. Well, I mean, and we had somebody who said it was, well, yeah, I could do 10 little transactions to a friend of mine, get through the 10. And, there's always a way around whatever system, no matter what system you build, there's always a way around it. And all we can do is do our best to create a family environment and a real community environment around the trading card environment, which is really what Mercury is all about. We're just trying to say, let's everybody get on here. Let's make this highly, highly cost effective. To be honest, it's cheap to get engaged and connect and trade and do all the things we want to do within the community, and then do our best to, squeeze out anybody who comes around that's a bad egg.
Yeah. So just going back to what you're talking about when you're sending parcels untracked. So I'm going to put this down as a very unpopular opinion, but this is how I do when people request for me untracked, I feel the same way. I feel like if someone doesn't want to pay that extra $4, well, then essentially you're putting your parcel into Australia Post's hands and you should take on that risk. And then if you do pay the $4, then you get $100 worth of insurance and you get some reassurance that you can see where your tracked parcel is. In saying that, the two caveats I have to that thought is that I always take a video as I'm putting my envelope into the mail, and that gives me some peace of mind that I've proven to the person who's given me the money for the the product and also for the postage that actually I have done something with it. And the second thing is, though, too, for me, I feel like it gives me sort of some reassurances for myself that, because the other for me, it's also volume. So, if I'm sending, say, 50 parcels a week, sometimes I find it very difficult to remember. So for me, it sort of ticks off a couple of boxes. The criticism of that is that, it's labor intensive and it's a very manual process. Is there any capacity that you could allow people to put proof of postage in? Because, and I'm not trying to pick apart your systems at all, but it's just something that sort of came to my head, because I think in that instance, in many ways, that sort of does open up the buyer, because there's no burden of proof to be put onto the seller to show that they've sent the item.
Look, it's really interesting. It's actually a really great question. And to me, and this is one of the things where what we're trying to do is really listen to what's going on. And I immediately have an idea when the app gets launched, and it will be launched, because we still want, when the app gets launched, I'll come back to that, what I was going to say. The idea of having, you go into I just think of myself as, you open up the app, I'm shipping this card, and then quickly take a photo of it, putting it in the post office, or maybe it's a short video that's 3 seconds long, getting it dropped into the post office, and then it automatically goes to the seller. I mean, that's a great idea. I listen to that and I go, okay, let's put that in the app. There's no reason why that can't be developed and put into the app. What a great idea.
Yeah, I think there'll also be 100, 150 people cursing me right now too, saying like, oh, it's just like, more work I need to do. So I do want to emphasize, like, I think I'm in the minority on this, but I personally like to do that. Yeah. And I think that is sort of a good middle ground between, say, eBay, which I find quite sort of rudimentary, and then, say, Facebook Marketplace, where essentially there's no rules at all. Do you know what I mean? So
Sure.
I think if you could somehow build in those type of things, I think that would be actually really good. Yeah.
Look, it might be the option where, and look, we got to think this through and how does it work and, the mechanics of it. But I immediately go, okay, we're really creative on this team. I look at that and I go, maybe we could have it as an option.
Yeah.
Maybe it's something the buyer requests and they pay 50 cents for. I don't know.
Yeah.
If you pay 50 cents for it, you get the video. If you don't pay, and I'm just throwing out ideas, but we would work out how do we make this viable for the seller to do that. And once again, it's all about making the community safer and making the community work together to make sure that we can all engage and connect in this place in a nice, safe and valuable scenario.
Yeah. Yeah. What else can you do to make it a safer place for sellers?
Nudie runs.
So it's safer.
Mate, as I said, I mean, that question is, it's like a how long is a piece of string sentence. As I said, no matter how safe we make it, somebody is going to try and work their way around the system, and somebody's, as happens every day on eBay, as happens every day on Facebook.
Yep.
I remember sitting with Brendan when we were discussing this whole issue, and him saying to me, look, if you're going to buy and sell trading cards, as sad as this is to say, it's only a matter of time until somebody does the wrong thing by you. Because there's money where there's money to be made. There's always someone trying to make it easy.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that, and I think that is an unfortunate part of this hobby or this thing that we engage in.
Yeah,
and probably my thought on that is you almost need to sort of allocate, say, a percentage of your annual spend to dealing with that, because otherwise you are sort of living this perpetual frustration of, when am I going to be scammed? And I don't want to go through that. But look, to be honest, you can't stop other people's bad behavior. I agree with that. But the reason I definitely wanted to speak to this issue with you, because I think to a lesser degree, in some ways, you're sort of taking on eBay. So eBay is this enormous, billions of dollar platform. And maybe I can ask this as a more wider question too, but how are you going to differentiate yourself between Mercury and, say, eBay, or Mercury and ComthsThis, or Mercury and PWCC? Do you know what I mean? Sure. So what are some of the things that you can do for people?
I think the first one, the easiest way to answer that is, let's just say, I mean, there's obviously different membership levels, but I like our champion membership level, which costs you $9.99 a month.
Sure.
So it costs you $9.99 to be a month as a champion membership level. And in that membership level, you can have 5,000 cards in your trophy room. You can have 5,000 free marketplace listings at any point in time, which means you can have your entire trophy room on the marketplace for sale. You have unlimited transactions per month. And you can sell 20 cards commission-free per month. You don't pay any commissions whatsoever. So, you mentioned before it's 16% on eBay. I don't think it's quite that high. It's about 13%. But every year they put their fees up. You can sell 20 transactions. Now, a transaction for us, or 20 free commission-free sales, that isn't necessarily 20 cards. So if I sell 10 cards to you, that's considered one transaction in our platform. That's not considered 10 transactions.
Yeah.
So you can sell a lot of cards in a month for $9.99.
Yeah.
I mean, it's so cheap, it's insane. And then any cards that you sell above that, you can do one of two things. You can either upgrade to the next membership, which gives you
50.
I think it's 50 transactions a month, or you can stay on that transaction level, and any sales that you make above the 20 commission-free sales, then you're only going to pay 3% commission on them.
Okay.
So that is the big call factor to this, because at this point in time, we've got platforms that are just making, particularly kids, for them to lose 15, 16, 20% sometimes on a sale. One, it drives up the price of the card, because we all know that fee is built into the price of the end sale of the card. So it limits the transactions that can occur, because some people can't afford the cards anymore.
Yeah.
It's just driving up the prices.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, it just takes money out of the pockets of the people who should be keeping the money in the game. Because when you sell cards, Russell, what do you normally do with the money?
Roll it back in.
Roll it back in. So you buy more cards, you transact back in the industry. But if we've got everybody trading in an environment where 15 or 13 or 18% of every transaction is being consumed by an external party, then that's a lot of money that is leaving the trade every time a transaction happens that doesn't come back in the trade to grow it.
Yeah.
Every transaction is stripping away from the trade itself that we all want to be a part of.
Yeah.
So, that was a big reason as to why we built the platform also as a paid membership platform. Because on a paid membership platform, if you're not paying for the platform or any good or service that you're buying on any platform, you are the product. And we didn't want to make our members the product. Because what we also don't want to put on the platform is advertising. We don't want to, this is an advertising free space. It means you can come and just engage in the things that you want to engage in without being, smashed with this advert or that advert or whatever it may be on different, different pop-ups and this and that. We want this to be a pure location. It's meant to be a pure environment.
Yeah. I think the other thing to answer your question, Russell, is what differentiates us from eBay and check out my cards and Beckett and this was the thing that I sat with Paul on day one. It was, we want those three things to come and be in the one location. So on eBay you don't have all the checklist database. We've got that. On Check Out My Cards you don't have that, and you can't upload your own cards you've got in your collection. You can't upload those to track and manage your collection. And then once you make a purchase on eBay, that digital copy of the card doesn't come across to your trophy room, essentially. So, that's the different. Currently, that's what differentiates us from each of those platforms individually and separately. Once we get some members on board and we have some more time to build new features, the differentiation between the current offering is going to be massive.
There's the list of features that we want to put onto the platform that are, once again, keep the platform pure and are dedicated directly to our members. It's a long list. So,
So can I just pick your brain a little bit about your fee structure? So
sure.
In the event that you stop paying your $10 a month, what happens to your account or what happens to your profile then?
So basically, if you stop paying, you will get emails notifying you that payment hasn't been made, whether that's chosen by you or not. And then I think after a certain amount of time, you won't be able to access your trophy room. You won't be able to transact on the marketplace until you drop the number of cards down to the free membership tier, which is 150 cards or less.
You literally just answered my next question there. But please keep going. That's great. Yeah.
So and then after that, I'm not actually sure. I'm sure that we've got all the data there, and we can reinstate your trophy room once you get going again. But there'll be a certain point where that data will drop off eventually if you don't log in and pay the membership fee.
I'm in my 40s now, so I'm in a very sort of different point of my life to be honest, even where I was 5 years ago. But if you said to me, say 10 years ago, 20 years ago, I need to pay $10 a month to join this platform, I would probably find that maybe even cost prohibitive, or I would really think twice about it. So how do you cater for those people who are, say, 16 years old and they want to come in and, buy a few cards, but maybe that, $10 a month is just a bit too much? How do you sort of work around that or cater for those people?
That's an easy question to answer, Russell. There's a $3.99 a month plan.
Yeah.
So,
but I suppose to answer that in further detail, a lot of these people in the hobby are paying $3, $4, $5, $10 to ship a card, not to purchase the card, just to ship the card, whether that's tracked or regular postage domestically. So, I mean, I've had numerous discussions with Paul on this. I'm like, $9.99, it sounds like a lot of money, but then if you put it into perspective, $10, I agree, I'm with you. I go and buy a coffee every morning, that's $5. I buy 2 in a day, that's 10. But for someone who is 16, 17, 18,
where you are, right? Yeah.
If they're shipping.
Yeah,
I think it does. But I think also if you're in the hobby, you're paying a lot for other services, to post your cards in eBay fees, in, all these other bits and pieces. We tried to make it as cheap as possible. And
I think that bottom tier is fine. And then
what
if you just want to come on and just purchase a few cards? Did you say there was a free account also? Yeah.
Yeah, so there's a free account. So you can jump onto the free account and you can purchase within the free account. You just can't sell when you're in the free account.
Great. And you've been hinting a little bit about upcoming features. Tell us about that. Like, what's your dreams for this platform, down the track?
My dreams are quite extensive for this platform. I think I've got a list of features
about
maybe
just
that
tell
long.
Us your top 5. How about that?
Top 5. So basically, what we've got currently, we've got the trophy room, we've got the marketplace, and we've got the checklist. What we would like to do is we would like to incorporate breaks onto this page at some point. And I mean, there's other ones which are sort of dreams. And we're not sure whether we can get this to incorporate, but we're working very hard at it. Your image recognition of cards, so it makes uploading cards into your trophy room very, very quick.
So you put the scan up and easy. It automatically says the stat, the player's name, the team, yada, yada, yada. Yep.
Correct. It will narrow it down to a bunch of cards. So instead of searching 15 million different cards from all different sports, it might give you 5 options. So that's something that's sort of a dream that we would love to incorporate.
Stealing, but I think that actually exists in some platform where you take a picture of the card and it automatically comps it for you. Yeah,
it does, and you would be surprised at how easy it is.
Yeah. So Brendan says it's a dream, but it's not. He's being a little not disingenuous, but we are more than working hard on it. He's selling himself a little bit short there. So yes, we are well and truly working on it, and it will be more than just a dream. It will certainly be. Effectively, it'll come from the app. You'll just tap on the app. You just scan your card. Bingo, it'll tell you exactly what it is, and you'll get historical. It's a little bit more than just a dream. It'll certainly be a reality at some point in time. The other thing is, we want to build things like grading. There'll be grading partners that'll come into the platform. That'll just be, you want to get a card. Just click the card, you'll drop it in, it'll create a form for you. You fill out the form, that form will go to the grading company, you'll get a tracking number. It'll all be an automated process. You'll just fill out the label, put it on an envelope, send it off, it'll get graded, sent back to you. These grading partners will be all over the world, and there'll be discounted rates negotiated. So what we'll do is we'll go into the grading companies, and this is how we say, like, you talk about $9.99 a month being expensive. I understand that at this point in time.
No, please don't think I'm saying it's like expensive. I'm just saying it could exclude some people in the hobby.
Sure.
That's what I was. Sure. That's what I was really leaning into.
Sure. Yeah. I apologize if I've misinterpreted your words. I didn't mean it the way I sounded either. So, but the value that we're bringing to this platform, for $3.99, $9.99 a month, and all of the members will be able to access these discounts. So we'll be negotiating all the discounts on their behalf. So, instead of you having to pay, whether it's 50, 60, 70, $80 to have a card, or $20, whatever it is to have your card graded, you just click on the link. There'll be a number of different grading companies. As an example, click on this grading company. That's who I want to use, whether it's Beckett or whether it's, PSG, whoever it is that you want to use. Click on
PSA bulk is back, baby. So let's go PSA number 1, hey?
Cool. No dramas whatsoever. We can plug that in. And this is the whole thing, is that we don't want to compete with anybody in the industry. We're just trying to create a central, well, we're not trying. What we're doing is creating a central hub where you can do everything. It's a pure location for the hobbyists where everything can be done in a central location. And that list, as Brendan said, is long. And as our developers have said to us, we can't do everything at the one time.
Yeah, you guys have got lofty dreams here. This is what I'm definitely picking up from this conversation. You've got really big dreams. Yeah.
So where this will be in 3 to 5 years will be very, very exciting. And it's going to be very, very exciting because there's a massive list of dreams, ideas, and like you said, lofty dreams as to what we want this to be.
Yeah. And look, we are having a few audio difficulties tonight, so just bear with me while I ask this question. You said you've been online for about 30 days. And how many members have you got so far signed up?
Oh, let me see. We've got around 450 members signed up currently.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah. And on average, how many cards have people loaded in? And
on average, I think because people have just been signing up, working their way around the website, we've got some, like myself, I've got about 5,000 cards in the website currently. There's others that would have, a couple of thousand in there. The majority would have, between, say, 1 and 200 cards currently.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah.
So, yeah, there's quite a few nice cards in there too. Plenty in the marketplace. Great. If we can do a bit of a plug for our members who have placed cards in the marketplace already.
I'll be disappointed if you don't plug it. Please tell us where we can find you, where we can sign up. Yeah.
And not all
if
of
you've
those
got a promo code, drop the promo code here. This is your time, lads.
Yeah.
Well, we have a massive promo that's going on at the moment that we should probably definitely talk about.
Yeah.
Let's do it right now.
All right. What's the card, Brendan?
So the card, it is the 2013-14 Panini Signatures Basketball Kobe Bryant autograph.
Okay.
Numbered 1 of 10. So that is a giveaway that we're doing as part of the platform.
The
launch. So that will be given away on December 22, but you need to be signed up to a paid membership before December 20 to go in the running for that. So
that's it. You just got to be a member and you're in the draw to win a approximate somewhere in the region of a 10,000 Aussie dollar card.
Yeah, that's not a small prize, lads. That's not bad at all.
Yeah, well, I mean, as you said, we have lofty dreams with this. We have built this platform to really serve the community. Yeah. And, you just don't know. Everything in life is a risk. We believe that we've built something that's absolutely brilliant and beautiful, and we know where it will be in 12 months or 18 months. Yeah. And we also know how it's going to serve the community and save them huge amounts of money long term. And create a central location where, you can just do everything you want to do in the one place without being bent over the table every time you want to trade or move a card. Once all the other features come on the table, that's going to be awesome as well. So, yeah, we definitely have lofty dreams and, which is why we're backing it with that card to just say, hey, jump on board. All you got to do is be a member before December 20 and you are in the draw to win that card. It'll be a nice Christmas present for whoever wins it on December 22.
Yeah, that's huge. And is there anything else you want to chat about before we move on to something non-Mercury related?
No, I think the key that obviously I've been talking to a lot of members out there about the platform, and I think it's about getting an understanding for the platform and how it works. That's the piece that I'm finding a little bit harder to explain to people until they see it in use. So what I would say, if anyone's out there looking for somewhere to upload and track and manage your collection and do it easily, quickly, and for a lot less money than what you'd pay selling cards elsewhere, try Mercury out. The thing that is really resonating with members as I sell my cards on the marketplace is the transition of the digital card from my trophy room to the other members' trophy room. And then they sort of get it and it clicks and they go, this makes it so easy. So that was sort of the whole premise around the site. And I'm just so glad that it works and people are so excited by it.
No, congratulations for, hatching this idea and then, making your dream happen. I think I love hearing about people that just do things, that don't just sit on the couch and watch TV every day. Do you know what I mean? Like, I think this stuff is fascinating and I think,
cool.
I mean, shoot for the moon, guys. Honestly, it's
I think the other thing to be completely honest about is we've had some, interesting feedback on the platform. Some good, some great. And it's just, it's been interesting that, a number of people have said to us, when there's more cards on the marketplace, I'll get on board. But if everybody says that, because what we're building here is something for you. So we actually need, our constituents out there, our members to go, you know what? When this thing is up and flying, it is for a couple of bucks a month. If you're just on the collector, for $3 or $4 a month, I can buy and sell and not get nailed every time I do that. I can collect, have my whole collection in the one place. We need people out there to get behind this because this has been built for the members of the community. So if if everyone says I'll wait until, well, then we won't be able to get this machine flying for you guys. So we really are in that early adopter phase and we need as many people to jump on board. And because at the end of the day, you're going to win from everything that we're building. Because every time, we've built this machine also with a very small team, which means that we haven't got millions of dollars of investors who we need to make money back on. We have to pay money back to. So when this thing starts making money, the vast majority of that money is going to be poured back into the platform to make it better, continually make it better and better and better.
Yeah. I can see that would be a real hurdle and maybe even frustrating that it's not going to get there until it gets there. So I can definitely see that. What can you do to incentivize people to put their cards up for sale or put their cards into their trophy room?
We can give them a $10,000 card if they get drawn out on December 22.
Yeah, that would help.
So we actually, all the trade shows we've done, because we've been advertising that card is going to be part of the giveaway. Everybody who says you're giving that card away, honestly, if I had a penny for every time somebody has said to me, "Oh my God, I'll become a member just for a chance to win that card,"
Yeah.
we would have a fair bit of money in the bank right now. So
that's a massive card.
Yeah, now's your chance. For a couple of bucks a month, you can be in the draw to win a $10,000 card.
I'm a bit of a torrent page nerd, so forums, and then when you do particular things, you get an award or a little logo that goes next to your name.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if you could do some type of nerdy thing like that would actually incentivize people to put, you get like a medallion when you get to 100, and you get like a silver one, you get to 500 or something, and you'll have 10 stars next to your name, Brendan, because you've got, 50,000 cards on there. So.
I think Russell's been looking at our new features list, Paul.
It would appear, yes.
I've hacked into your system.
No,
it was me. I'm the Optus hacker. It's true.
Yeah. No, it's funny you say that. I mean, one of the things that we've already implemented into the website, and it's something that you don't realize when you first sign up. We score each and every single card that is uploaded into Mercury. So it's not, Russell uploads 5 cards, then we score them. No, we score them as we're compiling the checklist. So, a base card is worth 1 point. An insert card is worth 2 points. Then, it goes up as you get a jersey card, as you get a patch card. So we differentiate between a jersey and a patch, which a lot of other websites don't. Autograph, rookie, and then based on the numbering and the scarcity of the card, you get additional points for that. So it is definitely one of our features that we want to implement. And it's sort of like I liken it to I used to play a lot of Call of Duty.
Yeah,
and
sure.
As you go through the levels, you get a better badge. So there will be that will be coming on board, definitely.
So what that does is that gives your entire collection a card score overall. So every time you upload a card, you might upload 10 cards. There's autographs or whatever they may be, or numbered cards, and you might get 5 for this card and 10 for that card and 3 for this card and 1 for that card. You end up with a collection card.
I can see people getting into that.
And then there's a leaderboard as to where you're at. Oof. So absolutely. And then there's a number of other things, because I mean the things that are being built in the back end at this point in time, that is absolutely one of them. You're going to have badges, and there's all sorts of things that we're doing in the background that are going to come, but we have to come to market with something first. So they're all on the list of things that we're going to do.
No,
for sure, Russell.
I think that's very reasonable for that stuff to come later. 100%. Yeah, that's it's definitely not a criticism.
But the card score is there now, mate.
Interesting. Yeah.
And,
I think
and the rank.
Some people.
I
think some people will absolutely eat that up. I can imagine that. Yeah.
I think we call it friendly competitiveness. We don't want to make it that you're trying to increase your card score to be the best. Although some people may do that. Yep. But I mean, as a Paul George collector, I've got a certain score for all of my Paul George cards. I know other Paul George collectors, and they may have not as many cards as I do, but they've got, some of the Logomans and some of the really rare cards, so they're going to get a higher score for that.
Yeah.
But then it's sort of, Paul George is sort of at a superstar level. Not everyone can afford Paul George or LeBron or Michael Jordan. I've got a side collection of Terrence Ross because it's a bit cheaper. And I can pick up some of those rarer cards for a lot less. And some people, that might be their budget. But the card score it's scored in exactly the same way. So you can score your Terrence Ross collection against your Paul George collection. So it doesn't matter how much money you've got. You're always in the same leaderboard overall as everybody else.
Great. That sounds really good. Final thoughts, lads.
Final thoughts. I think we said it earlier. I think it's just let's get everybody on board. You can sign up for free today. You can test the site out. You can upload some cards into the trophy room. You can have a look on the marketplace. You can make purchases on the marketplace and see how that whole process works, from buying to receiving the physical card to rating the transaction to seeing the card digitally come into your trophy room and see how easy that process is.
Yep.
Once you start to do that, and we understand uploading a collection is going to take some time, but once you've got it there, managing it is so much easier.
Yep.
So,
and for $3.99 a month, you can go in the draw to win a $10,000 card. As a final thought.
That's great. I want to sign off with just like pick your brains on two things. What do you think about this new prospect, Wembanyama? Have you seen some of the Twitter videos of this kid?
I have seen some videos of this kid. I saw it. Was it on Facebook or Instagram earlier? They said that if LeBron was in the same draft, LeBron would go number 2.
Wow.
So
it just sounds preposterous, doesn't it?
Yeah.
No, I didn't see that comment. That's pretty cool. Far out.
Yeah.
He just looks so amazing. And so they've listed him at 7'2", but he was standing next to Rudy Gobert and he was literally heads and shoulders taller than him. So I actually wonder if he's like 7'6" or something like this, honestly.
He's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Paul and I went to an event last year with Luke Longley and Chris Anstey. And I mean, I'm not short. I'm tad over 6 foot, but I was looking up to these guys. So I can't imagine this guy.
I can tell you I am short, and I got a photo of me and Luke Longley, and it's probably one of the funniest things you've ever seen. I look like a hobbit.
Longley's a big boy, though. He's a behemoth.
He's a big, and not only is he like, he's 7'1" or 7'2" as well. He's a big man now, as he's gotten out of the game. He was always a big build bloke, but now he's got a little bit more weight on him. And honestly, I looked like in the photo, like I'm about 5 years old.
And Draymond Green, that was the other thing I wanted to pick your brains about really quickly.
Yeah.
Completely sucker punched Jordan Poole. What do you think? He went too far. He didn't go far enough. He's now just said that he's got personal issues and he's taken some time away to heal himself before he comes back. And
yeah, right. It's funny. I was talking to a good mate of mine about the situation, and I sort of said to him, I wonder what Jordan Poole said for Draymond to go off like that, because it just looked like he must have said something that really offended him.
I mean, Draymond's always complaining. I think we need to temper in our minds, exactly
100%
how much agitation Poole actually applied to that guy. Like he's got a pretty short.
He does. Look, he's very competitive, and I understand that. But yeah, it's the first I heard that he's taken some time away for his own personal
space.
Yeah.
Probably a good thing after punching someone.
Well, punching your own teammate, it's not a bad thing. But it didn't seem to affect Jordan Poole. I did see a video of him later that training session working on his jump shot. So
yeah, apparently he was back at training the next day. So he was, not seriously injured in any place. So that was, thank goodness for that, because it was nasty.
I mean, he's a basketball player, not Mike Tyson.
Wow. I did say to my mate, I said, because I'm a Magic fan through and through from when I was a young boy. I said, maybe Jordan Poole will make his way over to the Magic. I really rate the kid. I rate the kid.
Okay.
Hey, it's the Orlando Magic, Sort of, we've got a good young team.
Yeah.
The number 1 draft pick looks amazing.
Yeah.
It'll just take some time, I think.
You guys have got actually a lot of young prospects, and I almost wonder in, say, 5 years' time, you're going to have this issue of how you're going to keep all those pieces together, because it's going to get, just sort of too expensive. And
I agree.
Think, they look amazing, and I'll definitely be checking them out on League Pass this year for sure. They'll be really good.
I guess that's the ebb and flow in the cycle of having a good team. They don't last forever. You get them in, then they get too expensive and they move on to make their money.
Yeah.
They don't play just from pure passion and stuff. So, it's the ebb and flow of building a team and then losing it,
Yeah. Righty, lads, thank you so much for coming in tonight. And I'm very, very grateful for your time. And it's been wonderful hearing about your project and, what you're up to. And I can't wait to touch base in 12 months more time. And, we can do this again. I'd love to sort of hear where you're at. Yeah.
I thought you were going to have us on every Sunday. No, Russell, mate, we appreciate your time as well. Absolutely.
It's a pleasure. Look, I think don't the boys from Platinum Grading have their own podcast now?
I think they do, yeah.
Maybe Mercury needs to get their own podcast then, by the sounds of it, if you want to be on every Sunday.
Well, we know Brett and Chris pretty well.
Yeah, we might reach out to them. Maybe we'll just jump on their podcast every now and then.
Yeah, I'm sure they'll have you on, lads.
We'll just make our way around all the podcasts.
Alrighty, guys. Thank you so much and have a great evening.
Perfect.
Yeah, take care, Russell.
Thank you, Russell.
Once again, thanks for your time, mate.